So you've probably heard my list of the top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. 2011 has got a lot of crap coming our way. This is the top 10 movies to dread in 2011. At number 10 is the 500 billionth and first exorcism movie, The Rite. Out of all the bad films in 2011, this will probably be the most tolerable, but only because of Anthony Hopkins. But how many exorcism movies do we need? Everyone is the same. They have a demonically possessed person, they shake on the table for a while, that we're like, oh my god. And then they kill the person. I mean, it's just enough already. Especially with The Last Exorcism. I think that was really, should have been the last exorcism movie made. And I think the only thing that'll be good about this is that Anthony Hopkins will give a creepy performance, but you can see Anthony Hopkins give a creepy performance in a far better film. First, there was The Stepfather. Then, there was Mother's Day. Now, it's the roommate's turn. Seriously, what's next? The landlord from hell? Or not even from hell, just the landlord. It would scare me. This is the type of horror movie that Sony has made a living off of these past couple years, off Prom Night and The Stepfather. Just very cheap, horribly acted movies with very cliche storylines and PG-13 ratings, so you can't actually see anything truly terrifying. Because Lord knows this isn't going to be a deep psychological analysis of a roommate looking for a friend. This is probably just going to be a typical horror film, lots of jump scares, and nothing good. When Cam Giginted is the biggest star in your movie, something's afoot. Coming to Discovery Channel horror movies, it's We Got Trapped Digging for Moonshine, or Sanctum. This little puppy is lucky there's a lot worse movies coming out this year, because this could probably be in the top 3 worst movies of the year when it's all said and done. I mean, the trailer just looks so terrible. It looks like I said before, a Discovery Channel horror movie. One that sci-fi would even look at and just go, you know what? Add some pizzazz to this. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen in this movie? It's basically The Descent without monsters. I mean, this is probably the worst thing that'll happen. Oh my god! Oh my god! The water! It's 2 inches high! 2 inches! God, save me! In 3D. I mean, Cameron, what are you doing funding this movie, man? I know you like 3D and all, but this looks like something that a piece of your hair could direct. That can be wildly misinterpreted. Anyway, at number 7 is the reboot of Little Red Riding Hood from the director of Twilight. That's all I have to say. But I'm gonna say more. Look at this trailer. What are you doing? I mean, this was a story about a little girl who walked around in the woods and found a wolf in her grandma's clothing, and they've turned it into this weird emo love story. I mean, like, what's going on? This is probably the pitch meeting for this film. You know what just really just meant something to me as, like, a kid? It was like Little Red Riding Hood, man. That was some deep stuff. Deep stuff. Yeah, man. I know exactly what you mean. Between that and, like, the 3 Little Pigs, that was like... At number 6, we have The Smurfs. I mean, come on. The Smurfs? Really? I mean, Alvin and the Chipmunks, I kind of get. Yogi Bear is going a little too far. This is insanity. And I have no hope for this film, not only because I never watched The Smurfs and I never plan on watching The Smurfs, but this film is brought to us by the man who brought us such classics as Big Mama's House, Scooby-Doo, and Beverly Hills Chihuahua, with a cast that includes Katy Perry. Be very afraid. In 3D! At number 3 is the Kevin James vehicle, Zookeeper. Okay, I'm officially convinced this movie was made to destroy me. It's like Paul Blart in a zoo. I hate Paul Blart. Paul Blart is terrible. It's just a bunch of, oh look, he's fat, look how he falls jokes. And that's all this is going to be. It's just going to be Dr. Dolittle meets Paul Blart Mall Cop, and that does not sound good. And especially since they're wasting the talents of the likes of Sylvester Stallone, this is one that you're definitely going to want to avoid at all costs. It's going to be probably the worst comedy of the year, besides number 4, the Adam Sandler version of Jack and Jill. Wow. What the hell are you thinking, Adam? Hello? Anybody home? Anybody home in there, Adam? How well did this work out for Eddie Murphy? The whole cross-dressing thing. Not well, let me tell you. Not to mention, the makeup looks terrible. And it's an adaptation of a poem where 2 people fetch a pail of water, and it has Al Pacino. I'm going out like Kevin Pine. At number 3, we have Mars Needs Moms. Apparently at Image Movers, when Robert Zemeckis goes, they just have no idea what the hell to do, so they just rip off every single alien movie ever. And they're like, oh, we're hilarious because we have aliens and cliches and it's so funny. But no, this is just a bad rip-off of Jimmy Neutron and every terrible sci-fi spoof ever made. It looks god-awful. Every joke in this trailer just falls flat. In 3D! I think I mentioned this for someone else earlier. Dan Fogler, the most annoying little imp on the planet, is your biggest star in your film, you have issues. At number 2, we have Johnny English Reborn. I don't want Rowan Atkinson to be reborn. Rowan Atkinson is the most unfunny person on the face of the planet. And Johnny English was a subpar version of Pink Panther 2. And if anybody knows my feelings on Pink Panther 2, Johnny English has to be pretty bad. Now, if we're following the Pink Panther formula of mildly okay to terrible, Johnny English Reborn is probably going to be even worse than Pink Panther 2. It's just going to have tired physical gags, lame acting, it's just going to be a just funeral of comedic timing. It's just going to be awful. Rowan Atkinson, go away. No one likes you anymore. Bean, great. You had a turkey on your head. That's fantastic. Now, go do little obscure British films, because I do not want to see you anymore. You are not a comedic genius. You are just some guy who makes funny faces and falls around a lot. And at number 1, we have Alex Pettyfer and Vanessa Hudgens, and what is sure to be the worst romance story of the new decade, Beastly. What are you doing, Alex? You have this whole I am number 4 thing, everything's going to go out and go great, I am number 4 is going to be a huge hit, but no, you're just going to ruin it with this terrible excuse for anything. This is a movie that, for good reason, a lot of you haven't heard of, so let me fill you in on what this is. Basically, Alex plays a very attractive, very successful guy who is visited by a witch and is made into this beastly guy that you see on the poster. Now, and he falls in love with Vanessa Hudgens. It's Beauty and the Beast. And it looks like the most putrid movie imaginable. Just the romance is so sappy. Even the tagline, love is never ugly, makes my spine want to pop out of my back. It's going to be like if Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer joined forces with Harold Swart and they tried to write a serious romantic film. That's what this is going to be. This is going to be absolutely the worst film of the year. No doubt about it. Stay away. I mean, what? Enough with the new versions of the stories. I said this with Little Red Riding Hood. It's not fun. Make up new stories. You hear me? New. At least it's not in 3D.